You're here because you're sick of living a life of Groundhog Day, the same thing over and over again. Or maybe you're tired of taking care of everybody else, putting everybody else first, and wondering when in the world is your time to shine. Or maybe, like many of my clients, you're done being an extra in the story of your life. And you're ready to be the main character. So, we're going to spend some time creating that change for you today. Now, so often, what we think to ourselves is it is what it is, right? This is just life. We're adulting. We just deal with it. It's pretty defeating, isn't it? But that's not what's happening. So the real problem is the noise that's coming your way. You have spent so long being beaten up by the patriarchy, by racism, by unconscious bias, that you end up feeling like you're just giving up. And of course, you're exhausted. This is exhausting. Now, have you ever heard of psychological patriarchy? It shows the long-term impact of sexism on our mental health. And what happens is that it makes us twice as likely to experience depression and anxiety than men. Twice as likely. And there's been multiple studies on racism and unconscious bias and how that impacts our stress levels. Sexism, racism, xenophobia, homophobia, all of these experiences are traumas, and those impact your brain. So I want you to know that it's not your fault. And it is your responsibility, your choice to create change. I'm Jackie Roby, your host for today, the founder of Inspire Journey Consulting. I'm a speaker and relationship mindset coach. And if you look here or Google my name, look on LinkedIn, you'll see my accolades. What I think is most important is that I am a Latina who has experienced depression, anxiety, and complex post-traumatic stress disorder. I experienced my first abuse from a man when I was 3 years old, and my last when I was 38. In that last time, I found myself at an airport in Europe, about to head home on a business trip. It was early in the morning. So, I had my airport gear on, yoga pants, fresh face, glasses on, ready to be done with this week and just go home. And it turns out my SVP was on the flight. So I had to put my game face on, start talking to him. A client starts to approach us. Imagine how exhausting this already is. But it happens to be a client who is arrogant, and I am not a fan. He walks over, saunters our way, completely dismisses me, goes over to our SVP, who stands up. They have their white boy chatter. And then the SVP introduces me, to which this client says, "Nice to meet you." And I say, "Great to see you." When he leaves, I am seething. And I'm thinking, man, how arrogant, how dismissive. He's going to see that. Let's talk about that. And I say to my SVP, he knows me. I've met him. We've had multiple conversations. I know his wife. And I'm thinking, of course he's going to understand this. But instead, he looks at me with a smile on his face and nonchalantly says, "Well, maybe he didn't recognize you without all that makeup on your face." And then calmly goes back to what he's doing. He has no idea that he stripped away a layer of my self-esteem in that moment. And our survivor reactions are fight, flight, freeze, appease. And I froze. My voice was silenced in that moment. And then I started to appease, make sure that he felt comfortable. Everybody felt comfortable. And I waited many, many hours of international flights to get home before I crumbled. That was the first of many moments in that last position in corporate America that for me, I decided I needed to create a change. And it's what brought me here to you today. Now, had I known what I know now, I could have showed up differently. And that's what you're going to learn today. So we're going to walk through how to turn your gifts into your greatest advantages. Because who you are and your differences are what make you extraordinary. Ways to shift the negative narrative that's holding you back. We all have them. and steps to write a different story where you get to own your spotlight. But we need to understand what's happening inside of you first. So the human brain can receive 11 million pieces of information a second. Think about that. We can't even count to 11 million in a minute. When was the last time you even tried to do that? Probably never, right? But that's how much is coming at us. But yet we can only really process 40 to 50 pieces of that info. So what happens is we're moving so quickly, our mind is moving so quickly that we need to categorize things in order to make sense of it all. So while 95% of our thoughts are unconscious, within that space lives our memories and our emotions. So in order to categorize, we go with what we know, what we've heard, what we've seen. So think back to that story I just shared with you. I came in to this situation knowing that this man walking up was dismissive and arrogant and self-serving and potentially clearly showing up with his unconscious bias. But then I received that information saying, maybe he didn't recognize you without all that makeup on your face. And now my brain doesn't know what to do with it. And because 80% of our thoughts are negative, immediately I start searching for evidence to support the story. Well, let me think of the other white women who've been promoted despite my accolades, my tenure, my great reviews, the praise I get, the letters from clients to the CEO. How much makeup do they wear? How are they dressing? I must be wrong. This is naturally happening, but we have the chance to create that change. So because of the neuroplasticity in our brains, we can create new neural pathways towards more positive, away from this negative. The work has to be done though, and you have choices in that. So we're gonna start immediately into your workbook. And the first activity you're gonna do is to write down 5 things you love about yourself. And I will give you 2 minutes to do that. Make sure to start these with I love. It's important. All right, time's up. I would love to hear what that experience was like for you. Tammy.
Great, because I've been sort of living in this space, like given the political environment and what's happening in the world. I've been reflecting on, how do you stay optimistic and positive? So that's what I said. I love my sense of humor. Like I can laugh at almost anything. I love my resilience. I've overcome a lot of stuff and it's made me just a better person. I love my parenting style. My kids are thriving and I'm taking full credit for that. I love my strategic and creative brain, and I love my sense of optimism and hope. Like, I believe in the greatness of the future, and I always have.
Amazing. Thank you for all of that. Anybody else want to share what this was like? Denny.
It was so interesting. I love the way you did it because you were talking about you and I was so in your story and your journey. And then when you quickly turned it to me, I was like, oh God, I'm so not prepared for this. It was like, it really caught me in like oh no, now I have to, focus on me. I'm so good at focusing on other people. I wrote, I love that I'm such a good person and I care so deeply about other people. I love that I take care of my body and exercise a lot. I love that I have come back from depression and feeling suicidal. I love that I played by my own rules in life. And then I was working on number 5. But it was interesting, like, especially with the depression and feeling suicidal, I was so conflicted because I was like, at almost 48 years old, I feel like I've been through so much more now. And so there's a part of me that I think is what I love about you and your world is like you inspire me to like dream again and those words of like dream factory and whatever, because I feel like I'm a little safer. I'm a little more bruised and battered and a little, kind of I've been through more life. So I just love your language and I love that it's like the little girl in me gets to come out. So thank you.
Oh, that is such a gift. Thank you. And we are with you on being bruised and battered. Anybody else? Angelique, I see you.
Thank you, Jackie, for having this. And I want to tell you that this was a little bit easier for me than 2 years ago when I did one of your presentations. So thank you. So I had on there, I love my eyes and my smile, which for me, like having physical attributes on there is big. My caring spirit, my resilience. I had that one on there too, Tammy, and my tenacity. So those were mine. And thank you guys for sharing yours.
That's amazing. Now, I am so grateful to have so many shares around the ways that you love yourself. One of the things that I can tell you in my experiences with clients is that it is significantly easier for men to do this exercise. In fact, if I say, give me 5, they'll give me 15. And when women do it, it is likely to bring thoughts of insecurity, feelings of, I have absolutely no idea what I would love, and oftentimes tears. And I am so grateful for you to have this chance to rewrite that. We need to feed ourselves more positive. As we started to talk about, we're automatically thinking negative, and then the world around us is not supporting us. So we need to support ourselves in this journey. One of the things that you're going to notice in today's workshop is you're not going to have time to do everything. We're not going to stop because I want to give you 60 minutes that are tight and allow you the time and space later on. But what you'll see in this first part of unwrapping your gifts are activities that layer upon each other. So it starts with 12 months of accomplishments. So I want you to look back on the last 12 months. Now this, I know we're in January, but it's not a New Year's thing. You can do it any time of year, thinking about the 12 months prior. And when you think about your accomplishments, let's set the stage for that. That's something you're proud of. You know, we start this life going through big things, our kindergarten graduation, middle school, high school, college, all of those things that are like, those are the big events. Those are the big accomplishments. But guess what? You living and breathing and showing up is an accomplishment on its own. What happened that you can be proud of? This is in your personal life and your professional life. Oftentimes, I like to help jog my memory by looking at my calendar. And this isn't choosing what you're most proud of. So if you find more than one, which you will, write it down. Really celebrate you. Maybe it's how you parented. Maybe it's a conversation you had that was difficult. Taking on a project that you accomplished. You finished it, and that's awesome. Deciding to say no to something that you would have said yes to before, but you really didn't want to do. All of these things are accomplishments and things to be proud of and celebrate. So you start with that. Then many of you, from what we heard already, completed your 5 things. Write another 5. And for the ones who didn't get through that list of 5, it's okay. And I'm still going to give you 10. So that's the next step. Keep going on it. Hear yourself. When we write things down, it actually allows us to remember it in a stronger way than just thinking it. And even sometimes just hearing it. So write it down. Get that stored in your memory as something that you can reference later on. Make that something that is easily categorized. And then I want you to start thinking about your values. So this looks different for everyone. And some people may say, oh, I value kindness. Yes, that is absolutely a value. Some might say, I value standing up for what I believe in. Also a value. Do not overthink this. There is no right or wrong. What's important to you is important to you. So what I would think about first is maybe your personal life and where those values go. And then try to see which one hits every area of your life. Does it carry over in your relationship, in your friendships, in your family, in your parenting? Does it carry over to your professional life with colleagues, clients, boss, vendors? Does it fit everywhere? When you find the value that definitely translates in all spaces, or maybe to most, but you want to carry it over, then figure out why it's important to you. Write that out. And the reason that we go through all of this, number one, is giving yourself that positive information for your brain, right? We need that. Number two, it feels good. Yes, we want to feel good, total win. But it also helps you to see yourself more clearly and verbalize your awesomeness. gives you the bragging right so you can step into your power. Think about registering for this event or getting the reminder and you're about to log on or wondering if you're going to. And maybe you have that moment where you think, is this how I should be spending my time? Maybe I need to be more productive. I need to work on that thing that my partner asked me to do. I've just been putting it off. Do I need to go to the gym? What do I need to do right now? Those thoughts, those things that come up, those are the unwritten rules. Those are the expectations. Now, remember, 95% of our thoughts are unconscious. So these can be really tricky. But these expectations, they often feel like others are putting them on us. We put them on others without even verbalizing it. And obviously, we put them on ourselves. And they create this pressure within us. They can be cultural. We definitely have patriarchal ones. Think of choosing something to wear. You got to dress appropriate. That changes for every space we go into, for every audience that's there. It's why women call each other before events to figure out what they're going to wear. We want to fit. We want to belong. We're expected to know exactly what's right. There's the expectation for you to be kind and considerate despite microaggressions that are coming your way. There's cultural expectations. As a Latina, we prioritize partner, then kids, then pets, then home, then maybe self. I know personally, I was raised with a very different message. Marry for love, make your own money. Jackie, stop being boy crazy, pay attention to school. All of these things of independence. But yet, that wasn't what I saw, and it seeped in. I learned something different. So years later, I have this experience that one of my clients, another woman of color, we talked about, and we shared this moment where we learned this commonality where both of us, when our partners worked from home, we decided we needed to make them lunch. We needed to stop everything we were doing to feed them. And it was irritating. So what happened though was they weren't asking us to do that. We were putting the expectation on ourselves, and it was a cultural expectation hidden within there. But now imagine if they didn't appreciate it. We're putting that expectation on them. How could you? But it was uncovering it first. You see, it's really tricky how that happens. And so there are clues. When you're saying, I should do, I need to, I have to, I'm supposed to, those are your clues of an expectation. That is your opportunity to create change. So now, workbook out. I'm going to have you write all the expectations you faced from the minute you woke up this morning. And you have 2 minutes. All right. Anybody want to share?
I'll share, Jackie. So for those that don't know me, I my fiance and I have our own real estate company, and so there's many aspects to what I do on a daily basis. And from the moment I woke up this morning, I was like, I need to respond to a plumbing emergency. I have tenants that just moved out yesterday, and I have to get the power turned on so I can have my maintenance guy go today. I should get up and shower and do my makeup for this call, which I didn't, by the way. But I need to hire a property manager. I should make breakfast. My fiance had dental surgery yesterday, so I'm like, oh, I should make sure he's okay. Does he need anything? TMI, should I initiate sex this morning because I haven't been a good wife? And that's it. So yeah, that was my list. And thank you, Jackie, for calling it out, because it's like these things that I'm thinking about that while some of them I think like I have to do at some point, right? But it's like, does it have to be done in that moment is another question.
Amazing. Thank you for sharing. And agree, Tammy, you look fabulous. I was like, oh yeah, you did do your hair and makeup.
Thank you. Oh yeah, I just pulled it back. That's why I was off camera for the first couple minutes. I'm like, I gotta get myself together. I'm on the West Coast, by the way, so it's a little earlier for me than it is for you ladies.
Thanks, Rube. Anybody else?
I can share.
Tiffany, what's up?
Yeah, my name is Tiffany. Similar to Marvette, I feel like thanks for sharing because it made me feel better about what I wrote down. And so what I wrote was, I'm a single mom. I have a 15-year-old son, so I felt like I had to get up and be positive for me and for him. I felt like I needed to get him up, fix his breakfast, take him to the bus stop. I felt like I needed to be productive, whether that's responding to work or personal emails and texts. I've had to take something out for dinner, and then when I did take something out for dinner, I noticed like my freezer is not really working, so I feel like I need to look into buying a new freezer. I also felt like even though I'm home working today, that I needed to shower and get dressed. I need to I have an interview tomorrow. I feel like I need to find some time to prepare for my interview.
And on and on and on,
And
right?
on. Yeah, I could keep going.
Yeah. Amazing. All right. These are phenomenal. Is there anything anybody else that wants to share before I keep us going? Because this is your space. Use your voice. Tammy, I see you.
This is going to sound incredibly stupid, but it is burdensome. So my kids, I have 4 kids. I'm a single mom also, Tiffany. 4 kids. They're all back in place after the holidays, and I have a really old dog. She's old. I was up at 4:30 this morning walking her, and then I walked again at 7. And now she's crying to go out. And all I could think about this morning was at some point I'm gonna have to tell these kids like it's time. Like it's enough. Because it's not sustainable. I'm exhausted. So that's like a big expectation. Is like they all went back to school and to home, and I'm expected to take care of the dog, who is just like on her last legs. So it's a tough one. It's a tough one. And I'm expected to. I lost my dad a couple of months ago. I need to go like visit my mom. I need to go visit my aunt. I need to go visit my uncle. So there's just, in addition to my own professional to-do list, there's a list of like mommy stuff and daughter stuff and niece stuff that is like exhausting. For giving me this space to get that off my chest because I have nobody to tell it to.
Absolutely. And I want to say that you started it by saying this is stupid.
I know.
What? That's a lot. It's a lot. And those are huge expectations. And family's great for that, right?
Yeah, thank you, family. I love my family.
So there's lots of love coming your way. And I'm so grateful that you shared and gave a bit of a release to it because it's not complaining, it is just noticing.
Oh,
And even if it is complaining, I don't care. But you're allowed the moment.
yeah, I totally appreciate the space. Thank you.
Absolutely. Well, I'm not going to leave you in that space because we could create change, right? So let's talk about the key to success, how to change these narratives, how to get away from that expectation. So first we need to identify it, which you already did step 1. Now, I was on a call with a client and we had just come back from her homework assignment of recognizing her negative thoughts. And she came in and she was really excited. Like, I didn't have any. My self-talk was great. Cool. But then this one thing kept coming up. And they said, have you noticed that you're saying, is this a waste of time? Am I wasting my time? And it came up consistently throughout the day, including time spent with her son, time spent with her partner, because everything else that was running her felt more important. And at the end of the day, that's not how she felt about her relationships, but that was this unwritten rule, this expectation that was pushing on her. They're so sneaky. So we start by identifying it. Then we examine it. And this is all in the story of should in your workbook. We examine it and we say, how long have I had this? How long has it been with me? Where did it come from? Whose voice is it? Is it mine? Is it somebody else's? Then you get to challenge it. Is it true today? Is it serving you for who you are today and who you want to be tomorrow? Then we shift to the witness. I know that just saying, oh, now look at it as an outsider is not easy, right? That's a big ask. So the quickest way to do this is to think about talking to your best friend. What would you tell a friend having the same thought, the same expectation? Give them advice. You know the full picture. How can you encourage them? What can you share? Then you're going to shift it. And here's how we shift it. We shift it with choice. Expectations, again, have should, need, supposed to, have to. But we have choice. We make an average of 35,000 choices every day. So let's empower ourselves with choice. If I choose to make my husband lunch, it's because it's a way that I show love. If I choose to do that, it's because I have time to do that. I'm making the time, and that's important to me. And then we break up with it. If I choose not to make him lunch on a busy work day or on a regular work day or any day of the week, everything's going to be okay. I'm a loving person, a caring person, a wonderful partner. Reminding yourself of all of that goodness. Break up with that narrative. Now, I'm going to be honest, everything in you is going to want to fight against doing this. Everything. And I tell you that because I have been prioritizing my mental health and wellness for 23 years, and it is really difficult to do this. I have resistance to it. And it is natural for you to have resistance, but it is so important to get out of that space and into something new and better for you. Now, we have been built to require validation. It started early on, right? We hear the example, baby crying, get soothed. Do something great, get praised. Social media was built on this. There's a reason that there are likes and views. We are taught that others' opinions make us better, make us whole. We're taught to fit, to get approval, to seek approval. And that approval from others is how we know that we're on the right track in life. So we think we need to assimilate. Assimilation helps us to belong. It'll give us the positive feedback. We'll get the views, the likes, all of that. That's going to make us happy. But that's actually dopamine hits. That's it. It's not long lasting. It's fast food. It doesn't really nourish you. It doesn't change anything for the positive. So instead, you need to look at a combination of self-love and mindfulness. And that brings you calm, wisdom, joy. These are big concepts, right? I understand you're not going to walk out of here and go, oh, cool, I got self-love now, right? It's not how it goes. Self-love is a daily practice. It is just like eating. You don't eat once and never eat again for the rest of your life. You have to continue to nourish yourself. And so going through the exercises, doing unwrapping your gifts, those are the beginning steps. Those are part of the equation for your self-love journey. And when we think about mindfulness, it is such a gigantic concept. And part of it is around awareness. So as we talked about bringing the unconscious conscious, finding those unwritten rules, seeing them differently, that's a part of it. But the other part that can support you is really connecting into your senses. So what I would love for you to do is find an object on the screen, maybe one of these shapes that you see, and just focus in on the one shape. Look at it, look at the colors, see the colors intensely, see shades, textures. Notice a detail maybe you wouldn't have noticed before. And in just 10 seconds, in just that moment, that supports building a new neural pathway towards calm, towards wisdom, towards joy, towards owning your voice, owning your power. All of that happens with consistent mindfulness. Now, you're not going to have time to do this, but within your worksheet, you're going to find the exercise Dear Queen. This is one of my favorite things in the world to do. What I do want you to do in this next 2 minutes, though, is start to think about who is going to get this letter. This is a letter that you write to yourself. But the question that I want you to choose while we're here is, who needs to hear from you? Is it the younger version of you today, or future you? If it's the younger version, what age? If it's future you, is it you in 3 months, in a year? This is a way to give yourself love, encouragement, support. Say the things that that version of you needs to hear. During the pandemic, there was a study done in Japan, and the group wrote letters to their present self, to their future self, and then clearly there was a control group who did nothing. What was found was that those that wrote the letters, their stress levels decreased and their positive mindset increased. It's been shown when we write to our past selves, to our younger versions, it supports our healing journey. And when we write to our present and future selves, we're more likely to achieve our goals. Now, we're not giving them our goals. We're not putting expectations on them. We're giving them the love, the care, the support, the vision, the dreams. So, did anybody want to share what version they're going to write to?
10-year-old self, my 10-year-old little girl.
I love that. That'll be a gift. Lisa?
Feel like I want to write it to me, but from my future self,
Yes.
like
Yes.
from her.
Yes, that's so powerful. I love that.
What do you mean, Lisa? Like you're saying right in this moment to where you will be?
Yeah, like embodying, because like, I mean, this isn't, I've been on this journey for a very long time as well, and it's a practice. But I think so often for me, we get trapped in like the moment, like the version of ourselves now. And like so much of this work is like embody the energy, like you're already her, right? But it's murky because we only see like now. So for me, like that's the hardest part for me, is to feel like I already am her and like embodying her. And it's almost like she's outside of me. So it's like if I can like see her, and I see her in my meditations, I vision her a lot, but it still feels like it's another person sometimes. So it's like taking her energy, what she's wearing, what she's doing, and like sitting at a cafe and like writing to me sitting in my sweats today.
Love that. Thanks for clarifying that.
And for anyone who might not know, Lisa, she is, among her many skills, she is an extremely talented and powerful, energetic healer.
Thank you.
Highly recommend. I've worked with her. I've hired her for David. She's amazing. Okay. One thing, an extra level that you can take it to, that I like to do for myself, I write myself this letter in a card. Take one of my cards. I have a lot of thank you cards. So I thank me and I write the letter, and then I put it in the mail, and I put it in the mail back to my address, stamp on it and all. It is worth it. It's nice to receive mail. Now, I put in your worksheet that you have the opportunity, if you would like, if it feels safe, to send it to me and I will mail it to you. I won't read it. It's yours. But that is available to you. It's nice to receive mail, especially when you receive something so good, so nourishing. So I invite you to say yes to possibility. Because the thing is, I get that I've given you a lot of work to do. And the likelihood of you taking this hour to yourself outside of here to do the work is slim. Are you really going to take the time Saturday morning before everyone wakes up? Or are you going to scroll on social media? Are you going to find something to clean, something to do? Are you going to fight against it and resist? It's normal. The thing is, our brains actually resist change. It's the strangest thing because change feels unsafe. It's unknown. We see it as danger. And so we fight against it. We avoid it, even positive change. So we need support to soar. And you deserve that. We think so often we can do it ourselves. We think if I just follow this influencer and I watch their video and I enact it, it'll be fine. If I just go through a guided journal, it's all going to work out. If I just do this Pilates class, or I just go on this next vacation, everything's going to be fine. We are not meant to do this life alone. And the thing that men know, and cis white hetero men know, is that we get support. We call people in. That helps us rise. That helps us be our best self. But we, as women and women of color, we expect ourselves to figure it all out, to just do it, make it happen, not invest in ourselves, not do things for us. It's completely unfair and unheard of. But yet we're telling ourselves we need to. So spend some time thinking, when are you going to put an hour aside to commit to the work? Tell us in the chat if you want. When are you going to take the hour and go through the rest of this workbook? And I get it, right? And I want to save you time because that's a lot of pressure. It's a lot. We already know all the things that are happening, or at least some of the shoulds that have come up already today. You deserve this time. So I want to give you some. Put some time on my calendar. Grab the QR code, go through the link, put some time on right now. I've even opened some time on Saturdays, which if you know me, you know I'm very protective of my weekends and my time off, but I'm offering this time for you to create that change, to do this. And in this time, you will walk away more confident and clear on what your dreams are so that you can get rid of the stress, get rid of the nonsense that's getting in your way. Stop overthinking every little thing and just move forward towards something brighter and better. That you can be more patient and loving to yourself and in your relationships, which is just going to feel good. And you'll have a space that is safe and empowering for you to look within and feel supported and give yourself the support that you need when you stumble, because you will. We all do. And for those of you who already know, like, now I'm good, Jackie, I want to work with you. Thank you. And I want to honor that by letting you know about the She Suite. So this is your VIP process to create your dream life now. It is a 12-week program of private coaching with customized support to design your dream life. This is not cookie cutter. It is fit for you, your values, your life, your purpose. We're going to go through a proven system, tapping into your unique power, bringing out your gifts, quieting that negative nonsense getting in your way. And you'll have that momentum to stop existing and start living the way that you choose. But I am grateful and lucky to have one of my clients in the She Suite here who has agreed to share a little bit. So Travis, thank you.
That's me.
Can you tell us what made you join the She Suite when you did? What made you say yes?
I did the complimentary hour with you right before I had a huge thing coming up in my life that I was very nervous about that was going to affect my business. And your energy spoke to me, basically. And you, in that hour, gave me some tools to help me get through what was coming up. And it happened. And without the tools, I probably would have been freaking out the whole time. But I was able to be present, and it really affected me. So I came back from that thinking, I need this now in my life. And that's why I signed up. And it's been a great, fabulous experience. And it's taken me from, actually, I was just telling a girlfriend this the other day, that it's taken me, my coaching with you has taken me from thinking, wow, it would be great if my life could look like that, to, oh my God, I can't wait. It's going to look like this. And it's going to feel like that. I can't wait. It's fabulous. It's wonderful. It's life-changing. It's been life-changing for me.
Thank you. That's so beautiful.
It's true, Jackie. Thank you.
If you were to tell anyone here, if they're considering joining the She Suite, what would you tell them?
I would tell them that you're worth it. You're worth it. Your peace of mind, your joy, your everything you want. You're worth everything you imagine you are worth. And Jackie has a way of 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 bringing it out and making it feel safe and making you comfortable in saying, yeah, I am worth that, because I struggled with that. Like, yeah, I know what I want, but maybe I'm asking for too much, or maybe I shouldn't be asking for that because nobody that looks like me has that. So, you know, you're worth it. That's what I would say. You're worth it.
Beautiful. Thank you so much. And I'll even add on top of that, you're worth everything you imagine and more, because there are possibilities we're not even seeing. So I am going to put the link in the chat for all of you. Schedule your time. This is for you. You get to look forward to possibility. You get to walk away with clarity and confidence and excitement. And you're not too much. You're not imagining things. You are worthy of more. You have the choice to create this change. And I sincerely hope and I invite you to choose you.